in my top 5 feelings. My mind's photograph. I take the present and I paint you in. And only a handful of people ever know you like that. One less person who knows me. It's a new kind of low. That's a new kind of lonely. Making you cry, well, that's a sister's privilege. If anyone else tried, they wouldn't get away with it. No, you have my back, yeah, you have my back. Oh, you have my back, yeah, you have my back. And only a handful of people ever love you like that. One less person who knows me. It's a new kind of low. That's a new kind of lonely. Where did you go? I surprised myself out many times. I asked that, checking my phone. Drawn to the light like a moth, but someone tore my wings off. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Guess I'll never know. And when I know, there'll be no use in knowing. Guess I'll learn to live. Nothing solid. How do we move? Taking it one step, one day. The kettle's on, the tea's made. How do we soothe? 6 months dawning, the sinking, still sinking in. How do we go on? Gently, gently now, gently. Guess I'll never know. And when I know, there'll be no use in knowing. Guess I'll learn to live with nothing solid. going to say I've got a band here. I've got Evelyn, Robbie, Eddie. Why not Ed and Jake? This next song's Black Ulysses. Black Ulysses, I cried you an ocean, cried you the sea, and tried to turn it back. And heavy metal moon hanging in the water, flashing red and green, lights of Dublin Harbour. And I'm at shut my eyes, it's total murder. Help me, God, help me, God, help me. Why not correct? My heart capsized, we're all tipped in, it's total chaos. Help me, God, help me, God, help me. Stop the world out, I take a cigarette and I put it out. My casual living's over now. I've got something to cry about. Warning signs and fire drills. And how's the time left on the milk? Spinning like a Catherine wheel, chewing on the roar of steel. Lonely love can hurt like this. Really do the worst like this. Trying to pretend that it isn't always gonna end like this. 'Cause I'm at to my telephone side, shut my eyes, it's total murder. Help me, God, help me, God, help me. Why not go right? My heart capsized, we're all tipped in, it's total chaos. Help me, God, help me, God, help me. God help me, 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 God help me. 'Cause only love can hurt like this. Really do the worst like this. Trying to pretend that it isn't always gonna end like this. 'Cause I'm at to my telephone side, shut my eyes, it's total murder. Help me, God, help me, God, help me. Why not go right? My heart capsized, we're all tipped in, it's total chaos. Help me, God, help me, God, help me, God help me.
Start this final hour, our special guest joins us playing live in session for us at the Maida Vale Studios. Liz Lawrence, welcome back to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Well, I mean, thank you for doing this, because it'll be the first time, I think, that a lot of our listeners will have heard some of these songs which come from the forthcoming album, which is a record drawn from an incredibly sad and intense sounding period of your life, which, I mean, can't be that easy to talk about. But you lost your sister back in 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, very suddenly. And this record, if I've read it right, this record is, as a result, is about her and grief and the gap she leaves behind and how those around her have coped.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very much about the nature of tragedy as well, and themes of tragedy and how it affects, you know, us as humans. And I really responded to it by being quite frank and sort of, whilst it is incredibly sad, I feel like the best thing I can do is actually talk about it, and and obviously write music about it. So I'm kind of really, I feel like that's a real privilege, actually.
See, I can't. You see, I can't imagine anything but darkness when this sort of thing happens. Because my first instinct would simply to be think, well, what's the point of anything now?
Yeah, I think that's very true. But when everything means nothing, then surely by that same token, everything starts to take on a different significance too. And I think you just have to choose. I think you have to choose to kind of connect with the world and choose to try and be better and choose to try and find some light, otherwise, because the darkness, I think, is too oppressive. I think you can really go there, and obviously people really do. But yeah, I think you have to choose to fight for a bit of light there.
But how long does it take to get to that point before you could be you again, or at least a different version of you? Because, no one's ever going to be the same after something like this happens.
I think people quite often want to know what the timescales are, and I think there isn't one. And you can have one day where you feel like you're back into sort of like Liz 2.0 or whatever, and then the next day be like, it's all just slipped away again. And I think you have to become very, very kind of aware of the patterns, of the tides, of how things come and go, and really pay attention to that. And the more you can do that, the more you can accept that maybe today's not the day, but perhaps tomorrow, will be.
We'll talk more about the record after a song. Which track are you going to start with?
I'm going to start with a song called Sister, which is all about sisters and how precious they are.
It's Liz Lawrence, absolutely live on Six Music. It's Liz Lawrence playing live for us this evening on the Seaside session at the Maida Vale Studios. With how old is that guitar you're playing?
Well, this one's actually about 2 days old. I had to emergency buy it because it's in a different tuning to my other one. Right. But I wrote that song on a very, very old guitar that I had since I was about 11 years old.
Right, and so that guitar will have been with you everywhere then.
Well, it sat in my mum's attic for quite a long time because I'd written all these really embarrassing lyrics on the back from when I was about 13, and I just hid it away. And then I just really wanted to play something very easy and accessible and gentle, and and picked it back up.
Do guitars? You can tell I'm not a musician. Do guitars really? Do they really sound that different? And do they have a different feel, or do you have a different relationship with them?
I'm not very deep about these things, but I do think people, when you play something a lot, or if you play it, if it's been imbued with meaning, then I think it can feel different.
Yeah. Vespers is the title of the album. That track, by the way, was called Sisters. In terms of the music, when did you feel ready to? Did you even think about music for a bit? And when did you start writing? When you did start writing, did songs just start spilling out of you? I really went off music. I lost my appetite for it. I didn't even want to really listen to very much music. I felt very much like I was really drawn to quiet and sort of controlling my environment. But then just one day, I think I was pottering in my studio and I picked up this nylon string and I sang, and I was like, okay, maybe there's a need for me here to tell this story of what happened to my sister and my family, and I didn't think about anything else apart from what would it feel like to sing about this, and so I did. And as you were writing, did each song almost inform the next song? Because when you'd written about one emotion or experience, did that lead to, I just mentioned this, I also feel this?
I think that, in truth, I think that there was something that felt incredibly important about what we'd been through and what it was like to witness something like that. And suddenly I think you feel connected to a whole group of humans that you maybe didn't feel connected to before, who have also experienced tragedy, or in fact, people who work in hospitals or in the airport, even in places that kindness has been shown to you, this is a different side to the world that I've never seen before. And it opens your mind up. I think it radically opened my mind up to being I really need to document this. I kept a lot of notebooks, and then some of the kind of little phrases that I'd written down, I just kind of took those and saw how they fit to music.
And it is about, some of it's about relationships. That track, Sisters, it was interesting. I was talking to my wife about this earlier on, that the line, it's one less person that knows me. It is that, isn't it? And that's almost a selfish feeling, that they're not there
Totally,
anymore.
yeah.
But which means I've got one less person to talk about. But actually,
I think, especially with siblings, I think you have a very unique relationship with siblings. I think that the way that you kind of grow up with them and they hold you to account, and you can have conflicts and you can have joy, but you also have an immense, if you're fortunate, an immense closeness that you really want to protect. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to get at in that song.
Yeah, and there's a track. Is it called? I think it's called "A Good One," which is not entirely about this, but it does sort of, in a way, it references, those awkward conversations you have with people where people don't know what to say to you.
Yeah. I sort of wanted to actually honour the platitude and be like, do you know what? Sometimes it's okay that what we say isn't ever going to be good enough, but it's better to just say something because it's simply, sad.
And did the way that you've written it and playing it, was it quite obvious to you quite early on that it's part of the record needed to be a little bit more stripped back? It needed to embrace some of your folk roots in a way, which gives it that intimacy.
I think as soon as I've written the songs, which were just vocal and guitar, I didn't want to do anything more to them, really. I felt like there was this very fragile thing that I didn't want to overcook, or I wanted to feel incredibly, for want of a better word, but authentic, my voice straight to the listener without too much kind of tarting up, I suppose.
Is that the professional world?
Yeah,
That's
I think
what the pros say, tarting up.
I think it is. I wanted to keep it as simple and direct as possible.
And you recorded it quite close to home. Where did you do it, I think?
I did it at Vader, which is, it's about 20 minutes from my house. It's just like on the Worcestershire countryside, and it's like an old monastery with lots of history about nuns and things like that.
I mean, I have these conversations with artists. Did that make a difference? Even the setting, does that help inform the texture or the atmosphere of a record?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I knew that I didn't want to be like in a city, for example. I didn't want to be too up against like loads and loads of stimulus. And I just like, the only sort of stimulus I can think of is like the gravel of the drive was like the only sound I heard before I started the day. It's very clean.
There's no sirens. There's no claustrophobia of life.
No alarms and no surprises was very much the vibe.
Yeah. I read somewhere that by the time you came back to music, you were looking for, or you looked up trying to find what are the best songs for grief, and actually there were surprisingly few of them, or at least hardly any written by women.
Yeah, there's an amazing Reddit thread. It's got like 650 comments where someone said like, what album should I listen to? And it is incredible. And if you ever like wanted to like dive into it, I'd recommend it. But I was a bit disappointed by sort of things that I, was drawn to. Like I listened to loads of Lisa O'Neill. I listened to Adrian Lenker. I listened to Joanna Newsom. It was like these female voices that I felt that were evocative of complexity, the detail of an emotional kind of landscape. And so I thought actually I'd like it if people who needed it could turn to this record.
So it's a record which it sort of starts out as, I guess, so this record is obviously it's for you, by you, but then once it's out there, it's almost everybody else's. Then it's for everyone else to come to or
I think that's the scary thing, I think, for any artist. But I think particularly with something like this, you have to accept, I think, that once it's out, when I sing it, I know what I'm kind of connecting to and feeling. For other people, they are going to want to put their own kind of interpretation on it, and I think that's really important. You have to let it go. I can't, be like climbing into people's houses and saying, actually, it's not about that. It's you got to let it go.
Yeah. Well, and use it as you will,
exactly.
Yeah. Can I? It's not one of the songs that I know you're doing today, but hats off to you for "Thank God for You," which is a great song. But also, and can I just quote these lyrics because they're part of my favourite on the record. If I've got this right, if God exists, then the top of my list is to thank her for you. It's a cracking line. Two more songs from the record. Vespers is coming. It's not out till June, but right. Here for you, two more of the tracks which you'll find on it, played live for us. What's the next one, Liz?
So the next one is called Where Did You Go?
It's Liz Lawrence on Six Music. Liz Lawrence live in session at the Maid of Ale Studios. That was a version of Black Ulysses, which is it's a song about how life's priorities sometimes change. I think there's that line. It's the line, "My casual living's over now. I've got something to cry about," which is essentially, does it matter if when does the milk go out of date? Does it matter?
Yeah. It's time to be a grown up, I guess.
Doris in Herefordshire is amongst the listeners who's been in touch saying this Liz Lawrence session is just stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. The album, when is it? It's June, isn't it?
June the 5th, yes.
It's a raw and wonderful thing. You're going to do a couple of gigs as well, I think, to coincide with the release. Is that right?
Yeah, there's two. There's one in London and one in Manchester, but they are already sold out.
Oh, okay. I suppose the next question is, are you going to do any more for the people who didn't get tickets for that?
Yeah, I think we're going to go out we're going to do a tour at the end of the year, is the plan, yeah.
Okay, well listen, thank you so much for coming
thanks for having me, thank you.
You can pre-order or pre-save the album now. As I say, the LP is called Vespers. Liz Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen.